The property markets in Shanghai and Beijing are roaring back to life, far faster than many skeptics predicted. After a period of uncertainty, both cities are now seeing a noticeable surge in home sales, fueled by bold new policy measures introduced in August. But here's where things get particularly interesting. Some of these moves have challenged long-standing restrictions and could forever change the landscape for buyers and investors alike. Let's start with Shanghai, where the local government unveiled a package of reforms on August 25th designed to inject new energy into the real estate sector. Among the most significant steps was lifting the purchasing restrictions on suburban properties and offering enhanced support through the city's Housing Provident Fund, a special savings account that employees contribute to, and from which they can borrow for home purchases. This policy shift has rippled quickly through the market. In fact, between August 25th and August 31st, the average daily volume of second-hand housing transactions shot up to more than 710 units per day, a clear sign of resurging demand. The details show something even more surprising. Most of these newly purchased second-hand homes are located beyond the outer ring road, especially in previously quieter suburban districts like Baoshan, Jiading, and Qingpu. According to Li Gen, who leads strategy research at Lianja, a prominent real estate company, these suburbs have seen around a 20% jump in sales. And this is the part most people miss. The willingness of buyers to look further afield suggests changing buyer attitudes and possibly shifting definitions of what's considered desirable or central real estate. Take Mrs. Feng, for example, a local resident who already owned a modest 50-square-meter home inside the outer ring road. Thanks to the new rules, she's now able to purchase additional properties outside the ring, something previously off-limits for people in her situation. The changes now mean families with local household registration, or those who've worked in Shanghai for at least a year, are no longer restricted in how many properties they can buy outside that key boundary. Some will celebrate this as unleashing pent-up demand, but others may worry about potential effects on affordability and speculation. Is this a healthy trend? Or could it reignite housing bubbles? Importantly, banks are now forbidden from charging higher interest rates for secondary home purchases, a policy shift that until now used to impose a considerable burden on buyers. Mrs. Feng benefited firsthand. Her interest rate for a second home dropped from 3.45% to 3.09%, according to Wang Huishan, an experienced real estate agent. This small difference could mean huge savings over the life of a mortgage and could encourage even more investment in the suburbs. But is this level playing field for all buyers really fair, or does it risk favoring wealthier, multi-property owners? Turning to Beijing, we see a similar pattern following a fresh batch of policies announced on August 8th. The capital city has also relaxed restrictions, particularly eliminating limits on the number of home purchases outside its fifth ring road. Buyers are also getting a boost from expanded Housing Provident Fund support, further reducing barriers to home ownership. Numbers underline this optimism. In August, Beijing recorded the sale of 2,824 new residential units, a monthly rise of 2.3%, while second-hand home transactions reached 13,119, up 4.1% from July. While these gains may seem modest by some standards, they mark a notable turnaround from previous stagnation. Switching gears, another event recently captured worldwide attention and stirred debate. China's grand commemoration of the 80th anniversary of the victory in the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the broader world anti-fascist war. The ceremonies, headlined by a breathtaking military parade, were not just about military might. They were wrapped in symbolism about peace and China's evolving role on the world stage. And this is where opinions sharply diverge. International observers offered enthusiastic praise. Didier Parakian, former deputy mayor of Marseille, France, lauded the spectacle and President Xi Jinping's presence, noting that he'd never witnessed such a grand parade. Meanwhile, David Gaultier, a retired French general, spoke about China's long-standing tradition of peace and its reassuring voice in turbulent times. Others, such as Balay Demisi of the Policy Studies Institute in Ethiopia, saw the event as deeply significant, bridging past sacrifices, present realities, and future aspirations. Jorge Arguello, an ex-ambassador from Argentina, asserted that the parade should be remembered not merely as a show of force, but as a rallying cry for peace. Echoing this, Patricio Justo from the Sino-Argentine Observatory commented that the key takeaway is China's growing prominence in global peacekeeping efforts, a point some see as comforting, while others may regard with skepticism. The celebrations concluded with an emotional flourish, a dramatic release of 80,000 doves and as many balloons over Tiananmen Square, symbolizing China's dedication to peace and its military's resolve to defend it. Yet, the question lingers, is this display mostly about reassurance, or is there a deeper message for the international community? So, what's your take? Are these sweeping housing reforms positive steps toward a fairer market, or could they risk igniting new challenges in affordability and speculation? And regarding China's Grand Parade, do you view these gestures as genuine commitments to peace, or are they more complex reflections of the country's rising ambitions on the world stage? Dive into the comments below and let's spark a thoughtful debate.